I just pulled myself over on the side of the road because I felt inspired to make a vlog. Good thing I carry this camera with me. So this video, there's going to be some adult language in it. So if that offends you, watch anyway and just don't be offended. But I was having a conversation earlier with a friend, and it invoked some memory within me that I felt if I shared it on video, that maybe it might help some of you out with some sort of pivotal turning point in your life to make everything better. Because I know right now, for a lot of you out there, things are not going so well because of various big problems that's going on. So here's what it is. Right now, I'm a successful home-based business owner, self-employed. It's really great. 5 years ago, I was broke. I didn't have a job. And I was just probably a single step away from being homeless. That's how dire it was for me, and that's the contrast between then and now. So between then and now, there was this really crucial, pivotal point that happened that stemmed from some massive problems, but it led to some massive changes and massive solutions, and things are just massively better. So I guess the theme here is massive. But anyway, I got my college degree, a 2-year associate degree, so it wasn't a bachelor, but still, it was a college education. It was official for computer sciences, web development specifically. And after I graduated, I just wanted to get my butt to work ASAP. So hundreds of applications. I had maybe 2 or 3 interviews, and they offered me like $8 or $10 an hour. Nobody offered me more than $10 an hour for a field that I had a degree in. It was demoralizing. In fact, I remember the last job interview that I went to, dude offered me $8 an hour. I politely said, no thank you, I'd rather starve. And I almost did. So I walked out of there, not storming mad or anything, but I guess on the inside I just wasn't showing it. I was sort of numbed to what had just happened to me. I mean, I went to school, and $8 an hour, really? I'd just be in debt for the rest of my life. So I remember the drive back home in my car. I had that moment, that pivotal shift, and my belief system, and my inflection, and my intensity in that belief system. And I had a conversation with myself that went something like this as I was driving home. What the fuck just happened? I got a college degree. I did everything I was supposed to, and I'm offered $8 an hour. Are you fucking kidding me? This racket known as a job market is never, ever going to fucking treat me like this ever again, because I'm getting the fuck out. I've got this home business that I started a couple years ago, and so far, I've built up a little bit of a nice supplemental income, but that's not enough. That is it. I've had it. I'm going to make this thing work, because it's either that or I've got to go back into this degrading racket pyramid scheme known as a job market, and I want nothing to do with those people anymore. And I kept my promise. I basically said, those motherfuckers are never going to treat me like that again, because I'm not going to play their game anymore. I'm out of that racket. I'm going to do whatever it takes to make my home business work. I had that conversation with myself out loud. I said it out loud so I could feel the inflection in my voice and the vibrations and all that. And I kept my word. That was sometime in 2009. The following year, in 2010, that was the year that I declared financial freedom and independence. In February of 2010 is when I officially called off the job search forever. That was a wonderful, wonderful moment. In 2010, that was the year of the official recession that hurt so many people. In 2010, I increased my personal income by over 700%, and then I doubled it again in 2011. Wow. So I'm out of that racket known as the job market, and I want to tell you something about jobs and companies, and I don't want to do it in a way to where I'm just putting down jobs. I'm putting down the state of our economy, I guess, because it sucks. It's very painful for a lot of people, and it was for me. But one thing about a job and working for a company, if you work for a company, then in the context of how you're getting paid, you're involved in a pyramid scheme. That's exactly what it is. And let me ask you just 2 questions, because this is going to clear this whole thing up for you, because you're asking, how am I involved in a pyramid scheme? It's a legit job, a legit company. I know that it is, and I'm not telling you this to put it down. I'm just giving you the logistical facts of your scenario as an employee working at a company. So here's the two questions so you know what I'm talking about. Who's making the bulk of the money at the company that you work for? It's the few people or the one person or whomever at the very top. And who's making the least amount of money? Go down the ladder, the chain of command, and it gets less and less and less, and most likely that's you. So wherever you're at in this chain of command, if you're at the very top, you're making the most. If you're at the bottom, you're making the least. This prima facie classic pyramid scheme. Now, here's your second question. At your position where you're at now, can you ever make more than the people at the top? Is that ever going to happen? And are you ever going to have any say in that? No, that's never going to happen. You're trapped beneath their inadequacies, and you don't even get to decide how much you make. They decide for you, and they're never going to give you a pay raise that's going to exceed theirs. You're trapped. So, in my opinion, that's just like, that's horrible. Ugh. I'm never going back to that again. I didn't really realize it at the time that I was working, and even for a while after I was no longer working, I didn't realize it, but since then I've come to realize, my God, that is in fact what you're doing. If you work for a company, you're involved in a pyramid scheme. Every single one of them. There's no exception to that. Every single one of them. You're employed by somebody else at a company that you work for. You're in a pyramid scheme. The people making the bulk of the money are the people at the top, and you can never make more than them. Pyramid. Classic prima facie pyramid. Now, in my business, if you were to get in with me and you just have a more productive year than I do next year, even though I got in before you, you're going to make more money than me. That is the polar opposite of a pyramid. And it's funny because typically it's the common belief out there that I'm the one that occupies a position inside of a pyramid, and it's simply not true. I'm in a great place where it all depends on me. I'm not trapped beneath anybody's inadequacies, only my own inadequacy, which is great because then I can improve upon that because I have control over that. If I want to make more money than people who got in before me, I can do that. In fact, I am making more money than a lot of people who got in before me because I just wanted to do that. I took charge, and I've got that freedom, that option. If I were still working a job, only a job, and at some company for somebody else, then I would be in a pyramid. I would be working at some pay rate decided by somebody else, not myself, and it wouldn't matter if I was more productive, more valuable than say the people at the top. I'm still not making more money than them. That sucks. And here's another thing that I do not like about companies, and maybe you can relate to it. I don't like trading time for money anymore. I personally view that as an insult now. When you're trading time for money, there's no end to that. I don't care if you're making $10 an hour, $50, $500 an hour. That's time for money. You're wasting your time, and there's no end to it. It does not ever end, and that's how you don't get ahead. That's how you become, people that trade time for money. They also typically think that saving money is intelligent, and it's not. You hear people talk about the savings rates and how they're so bad right now, and how it used to be really great when savings rates were like 4%. Put your money in a savings account, earn 4%. That's simply not true. Here's the reality of what's happening with the savings account. If you think you're really great at money because you know how to put away and save and all that stuff, you are perhaps unknowingly transferring your wealth to people that are more financially literate than you. When the savings rate was 4%, inflation was nearly double digits. The savings rate is like at 0.5% right now. Inflation is more than 0.5%. So your savings account is never going to keep up with the pace of inflation. Therefore, if you save and you get really good at saving, you're losing your buying power, which means you're losing your money. And it's not disappearing into thin air. You're just losing your money to people that have more financial literacy than you. So I don't care, me personally, it's just a personal belief here, I don't care if somebody is making $500 an hour. That does not impress me. I think it's extremely unintelligent to believe that somehow you're doing good business trading time for money, even if it's $500 an hour. Investing your time, That's a whole different ball of wax. And it's also the more financially intelligent thing to do. So look into that. And if you want to do what I did, this awesome home-based business that I'm involved in, where I increased my income by over 700% in 2010, which was the year of the recession, obviously what I'm doing is working, and it's a really good thing. If you're interested in that, and the people that I really want to appeal to are people who want to make a lot of money, but in a way that benefits society. No more profiting without questioning what the consequences are going to be from that profiting. I wish somebody would tell the major pharmaceutical industry that in a way that they would subscribe to that and start living that way and operating that way. But that's a whole another bunny trail for another day. The people that I want to attract into my business and help them get going with their own business for their own reasons are people that want to make lots of money and want to do it in a way that adds a benefit to society and other people's lives. That's really important to me. So if that's you, and you need to have that moment of perhaps some disgust in your own life, enough disgust where you're going to make a pivotal change, sort of like how I did when I had that conversation with myself, dropping those F-bombs. Perhaps you still need to have that experience in your own life because you're just not quite disgusted enough yet. Maybe you're sad and depressed and things are going really bad for you. But up to this point, maybe it just hasn't been enough to create that mental shift in your brain. But, when you get there and you've had enough disgust, which is a very negative emotion that can lead to a very powerful outcome, then perhaps you'll do it. And then the suffering can start to end, and you can start replacing more stress with some more peace in your life, because you've got this wonderful thing that you're involved in, adding a benefit to society while cleaning up your own life, getting your own priorities in order, and aligning your daily activities with those priorities so that those priorities can thrive. That's a good thing. So, wow, 12 minutes on the side of this road. I think it's time I get on to my destination. Just connect with me privately and just start off with telling me what you want, how fast you want it, and we'll take it from there. So have a great day, everyone, and I look forward to hearing from you.